I think we're live.
Bomb,
Chat.
he's got a bomb! He's got a bomb! Hey guys, welcome to the stream. You know, I'm Tyrone. You guys know who I am. Rap's also here, I guess. Real Texans also here. We got
Hello.
quite a bit to talk about today. But before we get into the stream, you guys know the rigmarole. Like the video, subscribe, hit that fucking bell so you get notifications. You can join the stream, join the channel today for $1 a month. Super chats are a good way to help this fucking channel out financially. I am like mentally blanking. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this
Yeah,
right
so
now.
yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, join the channel, send super chats, you got questions, all that good stuff. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. First we have super chat from K-Cub. K-Cub for 5. Spider-Man Brand New Day looks so good, and they appear to be adopting some cool comic arcs. Also, the practical effects look way better than CGI. Yeah, I think the trailer looked pretty good, actually. But it is Marvel, so they're gonna find a way to screw it up somehow. But it does look promising.
Yeah, I don't trust Marvel.
It does look pretty good. I will admit that. But I want to see what they do with Punisher. Hopefully they don't screw it up. But anyways,
They're gonna screw up Punisher.
yeah, they're gonna fuck it up somehow. But okay, so yesterday was the Illinois primary, and again, I did not stream it. That was I decided to give Luke a chance to stream it, and it was a wild election night. That's one way to put it. And let's cut the shit. I think it's fair to say, while it is a growing issue and like a growing sentiment with some people, the anti-Israel issue is still like a terminally online thing. I think it's fair to say after
I would,
last night.
I wouldn't say it's a terminally online thing. I would say the electorate, especially for Democrats, is still much older than younger.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, more fair to say that. But even then, yesterday was kind of a good like referendum on the issue of Israel. Like, because Illinois is a state that you would theoretically see a more anti-Israel vote in, at least on the Democrat side. And boy, oh boy, did that not happen. In fact, the opposite occurred. The the pro-Israel side killed the anti-Israel side. So yeah, that was an embarrassment. That was I mean, this is supposed to be their best shot at winning primaries. Did they win a single race anywhere?
No.
Hello.
Hello, Luke.
Hello. Yeah.
So we were asking. I was asking Illinois. Did this anti-Israel crowd win a single race in Illinois
No,
last
they
night?
lost everything. They got swept out. The Democratic Tea Party is a joke. It looks way more like a Republican Tea Party.
Yeah.
2.0.
That's a funny
so
thing.
far, 2 Republican incumbents have been primaried. 0 Democrat incumbents have been primaried. And it looks like we're primed for a lot of upgrades and open seats in Texas for Republicans. Progressive Dems have had 1 primary victory, and that was that low turnout New Jersey primary.
Wow,
That was it.
what a great event. But yeah, people are saying like, yes, I know Illinois does have a large Jewish population. I know that, but in the Democrat primary, this was supposed to be their big night. They had so many top candidates running. Like, I'm pretty sure their entire movement was banking on Illinois, I think, because they had a bunch of candidates running.
There were a lot of open seats in Illinois.
Yeah, and that's why it's a big deal. Like, if there was an issue with the Democrat Party, like if this was such a big issue, and again, I still think it is a growing issue. There's a lot of people becoming more like skeptical of Israel and like the APAC and stuff. I get that, and I do think we are seeing that slowly.
especially a certain counterterrorism director who resigned recently.
Yeah, we'll get to
Definitely not
that.
in a grift.
But yeah, like the problem is though, this is not what people thought it was. It's an issue for some people, but people are not going to go out of their way and vote because of if you're backed by APAC or not. It's just that's reality of it. That was the reality of last night. It was an embarrassment. I think they did win like a couple like incumbents, but like that doesn't count. Like a couple open seats that are
No, like they were
seats.
celebrating Ramirez winning, who was unopposed
Wow.
as the primary.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
They got obliterated everywhere else. Even the Senate race, they got like, not to be fair, they kind of were both, you know, on that side, but still.
To be fair, Stratton isn't even really a progressive. She's just like, she's a progressive the same way Barack Obama is a progressive. That's what I'll say with Like, her campaign was much more like resist lib than progressive.
Yeah. Real TV show for 5. In tribute of Jesse Jackson, Democrats voted for a black woman over Jesse Jackson. Online never wins elections. Yeah, I mean, this was reality last night. There was some
Jesse
here and there.
Jackson Jr. went to prison for
Yeah.
corruption. That's why he lost.
I know, but it's kind of funny he lost that, you know. Because wasn't he the favorite to win?
Yeah.
He still lost. So, yeah. Puerto Rico for 2. Venezuela went MAGA last night. Yeah, congratulations to the 51st states for winning last night. That was a good game, though. So, yeah, Venezuela, that they won last night. So, W's a chat for Venezuela. They did.
Anyway,
They
back
had a
to
good run.
Illinois.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's talk about each race individually. I guess we could start the Senate race because that's the top the ballot. It was not a surprise result. Everybody kind of thought that she was going to win at the end of the day. She won by 7. Stratton won by 7 points. Kind of, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about this? Before I like figure some stuff out, what do you guys think?
Unsurprising.
Yeah, I mean, she was leading the polls. There were a couple that had the other guy winning. I still cannot pronounce the guy's name right. How do you pronounce it?
Raja Krishnamurthy, I believe.
Yeah. The point is, though, there were a couple polls that had him in the lead with a small lead, but, you know, outside of that, the polling in Illinois for the Senate race seemed to be pretty good. They had
No,
Stratton
it
winning.
wasn't. It wasn't at all. What are you talking about?
Wait, really?
Kristen Newsom was leading like most of the polls.
Are you? I thought Stratton was
Yeah.
leading. Really?
No, she wasn't. No.
I swore I saw
Kristen
Stratton
Newsom was
leading.
leading. She was leading in like one last minute poll, but most of them had a. If you look at the polling on Wikipedia,
I was looking at
Newsom
it
was
last
up.
night. I'm pretty sure. Okay, hold on. Let me check. 2026
You may
Illinois
have
Senate.
gotten you may have gotten the tabs mixed up.
Let's see here. Democrat primary. Let's see here. Senate race. Yeah, I mean, like in the last. Okay, yeah, I was. We're both right. In the last couple of weeks, the polls did shift towards Stratton, but before that, yeah, the other guy was winning by a big margin. So I got pulled up right
It's better
here.
Stratton won because the other guy, he's a massive India First Democrat.
Yeah. So yeah.
Like
Okay,
he was
Stratton
back,
did like
back
was
with the
losing.
H-1B. Back with the H-1B shit last year, he was like one of the most prominent members in the House pushing that shit forth.
Okay, so I was kind of right. I looked the polls again. Yeah, so they had Stratton did take the lead at the very end, but yeah. Okay, my mistake, everybody. I had the wrong. I did get mixed up. Sorry about that. But yeah, he was leading for the entire time at the last second. What happened? Like, I think I heard something that he took money from like some big donors that Trump backs or something like that. I don't know the full story, but yeah. Raja was a Democrat's answer to Vivek. Yeah. That's true. Charlie Howard has joined the channel. Thank you so much, good sir. K-Cup for 2. Congratulations, Venezuela and the WBC. You got Maduro back. No, they didn't. The SAR guy lost. Yeah. So the Senate race, again, not really a surprise. But yeah, Stratton did actually win. Okay, I was wrong about that. Yeah, Emerson College back in January had her losing by 21. So yeah, there are a couple bad polls.
Dude.
What?
I said memersion.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, okay, I was wrong. Sorry about that, guys. Clarification, we fixed that. But okay, so without the way that was kind of you know, people were talking about it, but really the big focus was on the House races because oh boy, there were like I think 4 of them, 4 or 5 people were kind of making a big deal about. So I guess we could start with the big one, the one that I think a lot of people like their hopes were banking on this race. Illinois is 9th. And
this was kind of the blockbuster race.
Yeah, this was the biggest race of the night by far. What happened here, guys? Explain who won.
Daniel Biss, who is kind
and
of
now
an
they're
establishment
trying to
progressive.
cope. They're trying to cope and say that he's a progressive as well. But it was funny because, okay, so I'd like to point out something very interesting about the Track APAC account. You guys might know. So something very interesting with them. So this guy was heavily backed by J Street, which
Yeah,
is
I want to bring that up. We'll get to J Street in a second.
I want to mention this, but yeah, J Street is like basically AIPAC, but AIPAC is pro Netanyahu. J Street is like anti-Netanyahu, but Zionist. They're more pro the Israeli opposition.
This is what people understand about like AIPAC is not the only organization like that.
Yeah,
but like
I like to say
they're the pro Netanyahu one, but
yeah.
sorry.
I like to say something though about Track AIPAC, and this is something that some liberal accounts actually found out, and I think it's very interesting. Jewish Democratic candidates, they will count J Street, but non-Jewish Democrat candidates, they won't count J Street.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, this is true. Track AIPAC. They give Jewish Democrats a different standard. They say if you're Jewish and you take money from J Street, that means you're owned by the Israeli lobby. But if you're not Jewish and you take money from J Street, you're not.
That's a fucking problem with that whole like discourse right there.
Yeah.
That's a joke. But yeah, so let me explain this, because a lot of people, when we talk about the lobby, the Israeli lobby, everybody talks about AIPAC. And they're the biggest one by far. They're the one that everybody talks about. That's true. But guys, they're not the only ones. AIPAC is pro Netanyahu. I guess you could say they're more right wing, I guess. Kind of.
Yeah, they're generally. They back the current Israeli government. J Street is more. They still support Israel. They want to aid Israel, but they're more in line with like Yair Lapid.
Yeah, that's what people understand. Like, that's the Israeli lobby right now in America. There is a big divide. You have the pro-Netanyahu people and anti-Netanyahu people. And guess what? They're still pro-Israel. They're both Zionist. So this copium that, guys, no, the anti-AIPAC candidate actually won. You do realize he's backed by J Street, right? And the other one?
I recommend, for people who want to find out the difference, an easy way to look, because I've looked into Israeli politics a lot. But if you want a simple explanation, watch John Doyle's show for Friday. He kind of goes into the divisions within Israel. That's what I'll say. I recommend. He made a whole video about it last week, Friday. So take a look at that if you want to see the differences between like the Netanyahu wing and the Yair Lapid wing, because there are very different, and Israel is not this monolith like certain people on the internet will have you believe.
That's
everyone believes the same thing.
The same thing's the lobbies here in America. It's the same shit. They're all like pro-Israel, but just because they're anti-Netanyahu does not mean they're not Zionist. I can't believe I explain this. They just don't like Netanyahu because it's a right-wing government, and vice versa. If this was a left-wing government, AIPAC probably wouldn't be happy with them. So,
AIPAC wouldn't be happy, but they'd still be supporting it either way, because at the end of the day, they're still a fucking Zionist lobby.
Yeah, and like that's a big issue. I do agree. Like we should not have to deal with that shit. But yeah, no, everyone knows that Israel's just one hive mind with no other people or factions with different agendas. Just like in America, every politician has the exact same views.
It's very polarized. Again, I'm not going to go into Israeli politics.
It's a shit show. Remember, they had like 20 elections in a row in like the last 10 years before the shit in Gaza. It was crazy.
But all I'll say is this: if you're one of these people who's like thinks Israel's controlling everything and all that shit, you'd probably want to support Netanyahu, because Netanyahu's like, I don't want to get into it here, but he's like seen as the more like isolationist type person in Israel, at least compared to the opposition.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I disagree with that, but. Anyways,
you should do your research on Israeli politics. That's all I'll say.
It's a shit show. That's all I know. I know it's a. You think our politics is bad? Again, they had like 20 elections in like 2 years. It was fucking crazy. But yeah, so this was a big race, and the anti-Israel candidates got crushed. They did take second place here, I guess, but if like the pro-Israel candidates actually united, they would have got a majority in this race. That's the issue. Like these people don't understand. They got obliterated in the one race. Didn't she outraise everybody? Now I think about it.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, you can't say big money. You can't say big money because she raised the most money of any candidate.
Yeah, let me pull this up right here. Yeah, she did.
Here, but apparently she actually won McHenry County.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Like 6 people live in that part of the district, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so right here, I pulled up the Wikipedia page right here. She raised $3.3 million. Laura Fine raised $2.5 million. Daniel Biss, the guy that won, only raised $2.5 million. So, yeah, she outraised everybody. And let's look at who she was backed by, because this is the funniest thing. Where is
Hassan
she at?
Pikers.
Yeah, so right here, this is the official
that's the
list. Jamal Bowman, Ro Khanna, Elon Omar, Rashid Tlaib. Oh my gosh. Care Action, Gen Z for Change, blah, 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 Justice Democrats, Trek
CARE
APAC.
Action, by the way. CARE is a terrorist organization in Texas, by the way.
Yeah. Look at this. All these anti-Israel groups, they were throwing everything at this race, and they still got crushed. It doesn't look that bad on paper. It's like, oh, she only lost by 3. But if you include all the other groups like APAC and J Street, and what's the other one? There's a third one. Which one is it? There's a third group like that.
I don't know. It's probably whatever is back in Thomas Massey, I guess.
Yeah. No. That like they're pro-Israel. I think it's the Joint Action Committee for Political Affairs. That's the other one, I think.
Yeah, probably that one. Also, something else to note. There is actually a Muslim candidate in this district, Bushra Amawala. She's about to be the big enemy.
I will say, interesting, APAC actually funded ads promoting that candidate to like kind of split the vote.
Yeah.
And
how much votes did she
of
get?
the vote did that candidate get?
She got 5%.
5%, which means if it wasn't
she
for her,
won.
I would have probably won the primary.
Yeah, Abu Ghazala or whatever the fuck would have won. Yeah.
Well, people understand, again though, like if we're playing this game, if you had the other like pro-Israel candidates drop out, there were a couple other ones. I think Laura Fine was one of them. This would have got a majority of the vote. So we can't play this game like, oh, if this person would have dropped out. If everyone had dropped out and it was just a 1v1, he would have killed her by a huge margin. The three anti-Israel candidates cracked like what, 35% of the vote?
I think for Fine though, this wasn't going to be sufficiently Israel first enough. Well, not Israel first, but
we get the point though. Those voters would have still voted for Biss. Now, obviously, again, Biss, like he's saying, oh, I'm anti-APAC. He was still funded by J Street and these other groups. So to cut this shit out. I'm so sick of this crap. Oh, but APAC. APAC's the biggest one. They're not the only one in the lobby. It will be banned, I think. But you got J Street, another one.
Very interesting that track APAC. If you're a Jewish Democrat, they'll count J Street again. And their entire thing is they're like, hey, we're not anti-Semitic like the right-wing anti-Israel crowd. They fucking are. I'm not saying that as like one of these Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin. Like, if you are setting different standards for Jewish candidates, it's very clear what you want. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I mean, I think they would easily back a Jewish candidate if they were like extremely anti-Israel.
Oh, they would. Maybe.
You know, I honestly don't know.
We'll see. AJ for 5. I don't like the fact that America's seen as a puppet, as Israel's puppet, when it could be as simple as America simply having its own goals no matter what. Well, again, like, it's a big issue. I think the lobby should be banned. I think any foreign lobby should be banned, but that's a different story, I guess. But, yeah. So, overall, in District 9, this was an embarrassment for them. Well, okay, again, you could argue they would have won if their 3 candidates united behind one, but at the same time, you play this game with Laura Fine, and I think Mike Simmons, the other one. So, it's bullshit. That's the point I'm trying to get at. It's just complete horse shit that, oh, guys, she would have won here if they united. No. If it was a 1v1, she would have gotten obliterated. But that was the first one that everybody was talking about. Let's segue into a different one because there's a couple of them I want to get to. Illinois 8th. There's another one that was very close. So Melissa Bean, who is a former congresswoman, and I think she was more of a moderate when she was in office.
Yeah, she was kind of a blue dog. I mean, she ran as like a generic liberal Democrat this time around.
Yeah. But yeah, I think she did represent like a Republican seat back then. Maybe. I'm pretty sure she did.
She was defeated by Joe Walsh in 2010.
That explains it. Yep.
And Joe Walsh now is a partisan Democrat.
Yeah.
And I think he even endorsed against her in the Democrat primary.
Yeah, so this is another race where, again, it was literally about Israel. This is the Ahmad ran as the anti-Israel candidate.
Yeah. Bean was backed by AIPAC. Ahmed was backed by Track AIPAC.
And look at that. Same thing occurred. They only, you know what's the pattern? He only got 26% of the vote. She got 26% of the vote. Or
he got 26% of the vote. Bean got about 31.
Yeah, 31, excuse me. You notice the trend here, like these candidates, they're seemingly capped at like 27%. I've noticed a trend here. It's like every candidate they backed, it's like outside of the uncontested races, it's 26, 27, 26, 27.
I mean,
that is not good.
Here, I think in the 7th district, the Track AIPAC backed candidate only got 9% of the vote.
Let me pull this up. So yeah, the 9th one was another big one. Let me pull this up here. 9th.
And then there was also Track AIPAC also backed a lot of primary challengers to some incumbents. And
yeah, we'll get to those. We'll get to those. So yeah, the Track AIPAC candidate got let's see.
0 seats. Track. We need one of those 0 seat names for Track AIPAC.
Yeah, they endorsed 3 candidates, and
they endorsed a lot more than that.
No, they endorsed 3 just in the 7th district. That's what I mean.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, they got fucking wiped. Their best candidate, I think Collins was. In the 9th district, she cracked 9%.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is such a very good night for them. Seriously.
Yeah, I'm going to run for some of the other districts where they back challengers. In the 5th district, which goes from kind of snakes from northern Chicago up to Arlington Heights. They backed Matthew Conroy against Mike Quigley. Conroy got
and he
got
24%
of the vote. Yeah, Conroy got 24%. Quigley got 65%. I think there were a couple.
Let me pull up the full maps. People see this. Let me pull this up.
Let me see what else there is. The 6th district.
Yeah. So I was bringing that up.
Sean Caston got 76%. Joseph Rozovic got 24% of the vote. Yeah.
It just keeps going. The 2nd district, another one, they got crushed there. I don't think they even took top 5 there.
The 2nd district, well, yeah, Jesse Jackson didn't even win, which is interesting to some people. 10th district, Brad Schneider, 79-21. Although apparently Coghill did pretty well in McHenry County, so maybe there's a pretty big anti-Israel crowd that's in McHenry.
Every single fucking primary these people endorsed and they got obliterated, not even by a close margin. This was an embarrassment.
Some of them were against incumbents, so
I get that, but it's like, again, they're capped to like 30% in the Democrat primary. I know Illinois is a little bit weird. You got a large Jewish population, but also you do got a large progressive base. You have a lot of open seats here. That's not an excuse. You got crushed.
Yeah, I think also in the 13th district, there was, I think this was the last one. We have Nikki Budzinski, incumbent.
24%.
He had, 24% for Dylan Blaha. He actually got 40% in Champaign because it's a college county, but still.
So, okay, this is the issue Democrats, like, this faction has to deal with. There's shit, you cannot just run on that. It might be an issue for some people. I'm not denying that. I do think it is a growing issue. But guess what? For the average person that even cares about it, the people that care about it as the number one issue, they make up like 1% of the electorate. Maybe like 5% of the Democrat base, if that. The people want to hear about the economy. They want to hear about law and order. They want to hear about immigration. They don't want to just hear about Israel. And you notice every candidate that made Israel the number one issue, none of them cracked 25%, or I should say 30%, excuse me. Not one. So what do you guys think about Illinois last night? What are your thoughts on all this?
I mean, I posted a tweet earlier on Twitter that was Illinois last night. Be like, if people want to go check out that tweet, that kind of gives it. It's a certain video of. You'll just have to go take a look at it. I don't think Raph wants to play it.
No, I don't.
But Israel won again. They won. They won. We fucking did it. The Palestinians. It's proven. Illinois, they're very bad Palestinians. All the candidates, as Trump used to say about Chuck Schumer, they're very bad Palestinians.
Oh gosh. But so the real question is, how does this impact, like, because this was kind of their big one. This was their big night. They were supposed to have a couple victories. They did not win jack shit. Are they going to go winless in all these open seats this year? And all these primaries? Are they seriously
going to about demoralizing progressives?
Yeah, I mean,
there might be a couple open seats in future primaries that have,
I guess, but I think a couple in New York, I think, maybe. I don't know.
New York, I think, is the other one that they're banking a lot on. And
I think California, there's one or two. I think.
California, I think so as well.
But the issue is, like, they threw everything at this. They were expected to win a couple. They didn't win jack shit. They did awful. So that's the issue for the anti-Israel crowd. Again, it's an issue. People want to support. People support banning the lobby and all that stuff. They think it's a growing issue. But this is just proof that you cannot just run on this issue and call it a day. You can't just run on Israel bad. It doesn't fucking work. If it doesn't work in Illinois, if it's not going to work in New York, do you think it's going to work in Pennsylvania or Florida? Seriously? I don't know. It's a joke.
Probably not.
It's a complete and total disaster for this faction. Again, even the people, like, they're coping and saying, oh, we actually won last time because the not AIPAC candidates won. Guess what? They're backed by J Street. And
I actually do have an update. They actually did have a win. Not in Illinois. They had one in Texas. Frederick Haynes III, who's Jasmine Crockett's pastor, he won his primary in the 30th district.
Oh, wow. Wow. So basically her handpicked successor, basically.
AIPAC, I know Jasmine Crockett is like super pro-Israel.
Wow.
Interesting.
But yeah, like, that's the issue. Like, this was a disaster. They didn't crack 25% anywhere outside of one or two seats. They cracked not even 30 anywhere. So yeah, it was a really bad night for them. That's why it's kind of a funny result where it's like, wait, they threw everything at this one state, and New York, they're going to try, but it's going to fail there probably.
Again, what I will say is Illinois, Chicago in specific, is not a very progressive city when you think about progressive big cities.
Yeah,
it's very establishment Democrat.
Yeah, I will say, though, the problem for Democrats is, like, there still is a large progressive base in Illinois. That's why they were expecting something. They were expecting a couple of wins. That's why this is such a joke. They didn't win shit. All right.
For the past couple of years, the only progressives I can think of who got elected to Congress in Illinois were Troy Garcia, who even he is like, he's not like an uber progressive. And the only like real squad type has been Ramirez. That's it. That's the only like two actual progressives I can think. Like in terms of like actual squad type Bernie bros. And only one of those is really one of them. Like Troy Garcia is to the large degree.
Yeah. Let's see here. It was a win for crushing the pro-Palestine crowd, but yet Stratton won the Senate primary. She told downgrade from Durbin, and Bailey won the nomination for governor. I mean, yeah, Bailey won the nomination, but that wasn't a surprise to anybody.
All the Republicans should have united behind Dabrowski instead.
Yeah, they should. If you want to try to like do better, Illinois, you should have. But yeah. Let's see here. If Israel doesn't matter in Democrat primaries, just imagine how little matter in GOP primaries. Yeah, that's the issue. It's like, if it can't win a Democrat primary anywhere in Illinois, how do you think it's going to go in Florida or Ohio? Or what's the other big state they're targeting?
New York.
Yeah. Are they targeting New York?
Michigan.
Yeah.
Got the big Senate primary there.
So it's like, if this doesn't work here.
Oh, yeah, Maine.
Do you think it's going to work in a Republican primary in Ohio? For seriously, I mean, honestly, how can anyone think this is a good night for them? Congratulations, AIPAC lost a couple races, but you still got pro-Israel people in there. What's the fucking difference? RCO for 2 is an oil tanker sent to Cuba by Russia. I didn't hear anything about that. Let's see. Florida's 20 evangelical and Jews for those candidates to win primaries. I get that, but I'm just saying, like, this LARP that, guys, everything is anti-Israel's bullshit. That's the whole point I'm trying to make here. Like, yeah, people are getting sick of the issue.
Everything is done by the Jews. The Jews run the world.
Yeah.
That's why we need to run every campaign ever to oppose those motherfucking Jews that did everything.
Yeah, it doesn't work because
Minecraft.
people care about other issues. That's a point I'm trying to make here.
Because I saw that what's his face, the fucking dog electrocutor, Hassan Piker, made a video. I know there was a post going around where he was saying he expects if Tucker Carlson is the Republican nominee, he's gonna win in a Reagan-style landslide because he's gonna run against Israel.
He isn't polling. He's pulling a 1% right now.
Do these people think like the median voter only cares about Israel? Do they think that's like the
It's a growing, like,
Yes.
with younger people, it is a growing issue, fine. But even then, it's still, like, clear as day, it's still.
It's a B-list issue. It's a side issue. No
Like,
one
I
in their
will
right
say, I think if Thomas Massey, if Thomas Massey does run an independent third party campaign, he'll take votes away from like he'll take votes away from us from like young voters, but that's it.
I think he hurts more. I think he hurts Democrats more than Republicans. That's my take.
That's probably because I mean a lot of them probably would just vote Democrat.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, these voters, like, he wins, they would just vote Democrat probably, more than likely. They're just like they want the anti-Trump, anti-Vance, anti-Rubio Republican. That's what they want to vote for, anti-Israel. So, all right. Is he on crack? I can't believe he actually said that, guys. Tucker Carlson went in a landslide. He's pulling a 1%.
Yeah, he didn't just say a landslide. He said a Ronald Reagan-style landslide.
Which is every state except, like, what? What state would he not win?
Vermont.
Yeah, Vermont.
Anyways, I got a crash out. I'll be back.
All right.
Actually,
It's
won't.
fucking.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm always crashing out. I'm back, by the way. I had Chipotle for lunch.
All right. Again, chat, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Send super chats, got questions. Share the stream, everybody. Share the stream. Forgot to mention that again. So yeah, share the stream, everybody. But yeah, so Tyrone, what's your thoughts on the Illinois races?
Unsurprising, anti-Semitism is not a palatable platform. The best way to handle Israel in the current climate for the American political sphere is how Trump is handling it, which is forcing them to go and do their own thing, independent of America. Trump has the best approach to it, but people don't care because Trump is the orange fascist. Youth. And I want to bring something up, okay? I know that there are a lot of people, not even necessarily that watch this stream. I'm going to go on a bit of a Tyrone truth nuke. You ready? Hello?
Yeah. Go on.
Here's my Tyrone truth nuke. The kind of anti-Semitism the left has is different from the kind of anti-Semitism the right has. I wouldn't say right-wing anti-Semitism is anti-Semitic. It's more so just we have to talk about the Israel lobby. We have to talk about the undue influence Israeli lobby has, how there are a lot of Israeli-American dual citizens in Congress in both parties. And we have to talk about how Israel is a place where our politicians laundered a lot of money through alongside Ukraine. Some of the more extreme right-wingers would say that, yeah, no, Israel does need to stop existing for XYZ ethno-nationalists. They're hindering the white race reasons, shit like that. The kind of anti-Semitism the left pushes is completely unpalatable to the average American because their version of anti-Semitism is all Jews are white colonizers. They're enacting their own little Holocaust on the Palestinians in the West Bank and all this other shit. And Jews need to go because Jews are the same as white people.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of insane like Trump and some of the Israeli skeptics in his foreign policy group have been able to make headway with Republican voters on the Israel question because they have been able to specifically frame it as an issue of foreign policy, especially with how they handle certain threats to their state, like Iran and oil and their trade deals with China.
Well, yeah.
Left-wing anti-Semitism is literally just Jews are white people and all white people are bad and they're killing the poor brown people in the West Bank. That's why we need to give all of our nukes to Africa so all white people die, including Jews. That is literally their policy position.
It's third world the slop.
It's fucking insane. It's third world insanity.
Yeah, and people understand, like,
also important to note, it's very few white leftists pushing this. It's almost entirely first, second, sometimes third generation immigrants from third world, like African and Islamic countries like Pakistan or Iran or like a sub-Saharan or a fucking Saharan African country. It's
or probably
always
those that have Palestinian descent.
So Islamic countries, like I just said. Thank you, very cool, for repeating what I said.
Yeah. So
again,
but the point is,
all
like,
of this left-wing, third worldist anti-Semitism is coming from all these brown people who specifically have a bone to pick with them.
Chill out.
Am I wrong?
Anyways, the point is,
See,
like,
he's not saying no. He's just,
like,
he can't say no because we're streaming.
The point with the time we're trying to make, in a nutshell, is like the left version of it is just anti-West. That's the entirety of it. There's a big difference between the Israeli skeptics on the right and left. The right-wingers, there are some people that are, you know, they probably agree with what the left's saying, but like the right-wingers mostly, they're skeptical of the fact, hey, why do we have dual citizens? Why do they have so much influence here? Why do they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on our elections? What's going on here? Like, that's the skepticism, right? But the left-wing version is just, oh, the West is bad and Israel is the West, so it's automatically bad. That's the entire difference. So, let's see. I mean, Candace Owens, again. Candace Owens and the Hodge twins, they make up like 0.1% of the Republican base. That's the reality of it. They make up 1%, if that. So, all right. Let's see. The most schizo ticket for president would be Tucker and Kanye. I thought Kanye was actually getting help, I thought, right? Wasn't he?
Kanye is not political. He got fucked up on that laughing gas and is just withdrawn from public life.
Yeah.
For the most part since.
Let's see. I think that
breaking news.
What?
Oregon high school principal who was placed on leave for celebrating Charlie Kirk's passing has been sentenced to 5 years for possession of CP.
Oh my god. Are you serious?
Yeah, oh shit, Luke posted it half an hour ago. I saw that in another server. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Let's see here. I think that Israel's right to exist as a nation, but their government has too much power and influence in U.S. politics. My opinion is, you could do your, like, if you're not like interfering in American politics or whatever, sure, exist, whatever. That's my take on it. I just have an issue where it's like, wait, why we love Randy Fine kind of, but like, seriously, that is fucking wild that Randy Fine's a congressman. Seriously, why do we allow people like Randy Fine to get in Congress? But sadly enough,
Florida man.
Yeah, and sadly enough, though, he still is one of the best on immigration. So we gotta deal with it.
He can stay. He can stay for that
He can
reason.
stay. Now, people just say,
especially because his challengers are also extremely schizo and would just be Thomas Massey 2.0.
Thomas Massey 2.0, and that's the issue. In the Republican Party now, you have really one of three options. You could pick the Brandon Gill types. They're nationalists, they're right-wing, but they're sane. They're actually sane. They actually want to accomplish stuff. Same through Luna, Andy Biggs, Paul Gosar, and a few others. Then you got the establishment types. You know, Mike Johnson a little bit, Tom Emmer, a few others.
Or probably, and maybe that could even extend to like some of your Lincoln Project Republicans that run in Republican primaries.
Yeah. And then you got the unironic schizophrenics. You have the schizophrenics and the never Trumpers. They're just Thomas Massey. His entire
Thomas
ideology.
Massey, your MTG, your
And now Rand
basically
Paul.
those two.
Let's tell the fucking Rand Paul now. It's just
Rand Paul, Joe Kent.
Joke. I'm not gonna attack Kent, but from what I'm hearing, it might be a ban op. That's all I'm gonna say. Not good. American Nerd for 2. Hey, Rap, what did I miss? We talked about the Illinois primaries.
But yeah, here's the thing. Those are your free options. The Brandon Gill types would probably support somebody like Randy Fine in a primary. In fact, Randy Fine is basically a Brandon Gill type on everything except Israel.
Yeah.
And even then, Brandon Gill probably supports Israel.
Oh, yeah. Brandon Gill is fairly pro-Israel, but the difference is he doesn't like... When people get pissed off when they make it their entire thing that they're pro-Israel. That's when people just get pissed off. It's like, wait, are you a U.S. congressman or are you part of the Israeli government? That's when people get pissed off. Brandon Gill's too pro-Israel, in my opinion, but I still like him. You know, he's not as like pro-Israel as like Randy Fine or whatever. So
for the next 10, 12, 15, maybe 20 years, look, you're not going to reliably get Republicans who are not, at the very least, okay with doing with next to whatever the Israeli lobby tells them. Trump is the most, and I say this very loosely, anti-Israeli president we've ever had, at least for a Republican. Actually, no, just straight up the most anti-Israeli administration we've ever had. Yeah. He's not anti-Israel. He's just a businessman who's a geopolitical realist.
And people understand, like, look this up. Every president has had like their issues with Israel. Like, you look, every president's had it. Bush, he tried to push two-state solution. Jimmy Carter, look what he did. Look at Reagan. You look at Bush Sr., Clinton, Obama, and even Trump. I know everyone says, oh, Trump, you know, it's all Israel. And listen, I still think like the war in Iran, I do agree. It was
Biden.
Yeah, even Biden. I do agree that, yeah, his administration, they were pushed by, I think, to a certain extent, Israel to like go through with like the bombings earlier. That's my take on it. But
here's my take. I'm going to say his name right now so we can rip the Band-Aid off. I don't think Joe Kent was entirely incorrect.
No, I don't think he was.
I think he's an idiot for resigning. He had already been known to leak information to journalists and was excluded from intelligence briefings, but he wasn't entirely wrong. My personal opinion is that yeah, we were pushed into this by the Israeli lobby and certain Israeli factors in the United States. I think we should have let Iran have a nuclear weapon, just straight up. When you have a nuclear weapon and your enemy has a nuclear weapon, it is literally the most proven, surefire way of making sure you two get along. You want to know how I know that? Because there are two states who hate each other's guts deeper than Iran and Israel hate each other. They have been nuclear powers for years, and they haven't done shit to each other. I am talking about India and Pakistan. This intervention in Iran was stupid. Trump should have never done the bombings back in June. He should have never opened up with what he did with Iran now. We should have just continued the deal we had. We shouldn't have opened this geopolitical fucking quagmire gaggle fuck of a situation. Every president before Trump understood the best solution to the Iranian question was to just let them hum along. Because even if they had a nuke, they sure as fuck weren't going to mess with Israel. Israel's many things, but they don't fuck with nuclear powers. Look at how they did piss off the Soviets. Look at how they have a friendly, cooperative relationship with the Pakistanis, even though India is one of their greatest trade partners. I don't care if I sound like a third worldist. We shouldn't have touched Iran. We should have just let them continue what they were doing, because the moment they had nukes, it's like literally, ironically, letting Iran develop their own nuclear weaponry was the best way to ensure peace in the Middle East. Because at that point, no actor could act against another in a threatening capacity without seriously escalating the risk of nuclear war in the region.
Tyrone.
But now we've done and
No,
fucked that.
I disagree. I disagree, because the Iranians are not fucking
You
high
weren't even
IQ
here
people.
for my rant.
Well, I just heard what you said, but no, Iran getting a nuclear weapon is fucking disastrous, because what ends up happening is this is a regime that has no fucking care about self-preservation, no care about themselves. They would get into a war and they would try to use their nuclear weapons on anyone. Look at the way that they were attacking these
how
Middle
do you know
Eastern.
that for certain? How do you?
Just look at the way they've responded to this. They have they have zero concept of self-preservation in any way. The way they are handling this war that they've been dealing with now.
It happened.
And we're losing Tyrone. Great.
Pakistan is worse off.
Tyrone, you're cutting out. Tyrone, you cut out. Let's see. The Iranians don't care if you have one or themselves. Well, no, here's my take. Like, this is my take on this because I don't think they should have a nuclear weapon. I think clear as day they clearly demonstrated they shouldn't. But at the same time, I still have questions about, is a strike really worth it? I don't know. I really don't know if this is really all worth it at the end of the day. I think it's a situation where we will know in a couple months if it worked or not, but it's very risky. It's very delicate. And listen, you can say right now, yeah, we killed the Ayatollah. We killed their top people. The son's probably dead now. Everybody's fucking dead. But I think the best solution for this was just do what the CIA did for decades and make weapons and guns magically appear and give it to the people. That's how you would have sorted this out. That's my take on it. I think bombing them directly, you cause a shitstorm like this.
Hey, what's
Yeah,
up,
I've been
Tubbs?
listening to this
I mentioned
I've
India.
been-
I mentioned India and Pakistan, and
No,
now
no.
he's here.
Actually, that's not why I'm here. I'm not. No. Okay, I actually listened to Tyrone's rant, and I think he raised some good points. But I wasn't here because you mentioned India and Pakistan, dude. No, the thing with Iran is okay, I disagree with you there, and that's because did you see the way they shelled the Gulf states after even Qatar? I don't trust them with nukes. I just don't.
I don't either. Yeah. This is a country
Nuclear
that should not be
weaponry
allowed.
is a.
Yeah. What's up, Tyrone?
Tyrone, you cut out again.
Nuclear. No, I stopped in my tracks.
Oh.
Nuclear weaponry is an entirely separate factor from conventional warfare. You cannot say with any confidence because they hit the Gulf states with conventional munitions, they'd hit it with nuclear munitions. Why? Because Pakistan and India have been at war while they possess nuclear weaponry, or at the very least, they've had very intense border skirmishes, and nuclear weapons were not once ever considered. And regardless of what you want to say about Iran being a low IQ, brownoid state that's barely functioning, Pakistan is worse off. Pakistan doesn't have running water. A third of their country is starving. They have 250 million people. They have 250 million people, somewhere even more, more or less, I think. And they are still incredibly rational with nuclear weaponry. Pakistan is a worst case scenario for having and possessing nuclear arms than Iran on literally every front. And they still act rational with nuclear weaponry.
Tyrone,
I don't see any argument. I'd silence.
Tyrone,
I don't see
the
any case.
To Tyrone, don't you know? Tyrone, Israel doesn't have nukes. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, Israel does.
Israel, absolutely.
I'm joking. I'm just they always say they don't, but.
Dude, the thing is, I'm gonna do something that no Indian has ever done before and defend Pakistan a little bit. They are,
Holy fucking shit! Now I've seen everything.
No. Okay. Can I finish? So Tyrone is right. Pakistan is worse than Iran, objectively. It objectively as a country, despite the fact that they're not really even sanctioned, Pakistan's worse than Iran. Sure, they are probably one of the last countries in the world you'd expect to develop nukes. The thing with the Pakistanis is they are kind of, not really because they're a really terrible ally, but they're kind of an ally of America. And the reason why America is quote unquote allies with them and Trump is trying to, at least keep them on a leash and deepen, the partnership with Pakistan is because you do not want these pro-China or Islamist elements getting control of these nukes. So actually the fact that you're using Pakistan... The fact that you're using Pakistan as an example is no, that's not a good example. Pakistan should not have nukes. You could even argue that, oh, Israel and India and China really shouldn't have nukes, but we don't live in an ideal world. And the fact is Iran, unlike Pakistan, isn't basically I don't want to say a puppet state, but basically a client state of America. Iran, if they get nukes, and if like, let's say a far more irrational, type of leadership gets in control of Iran, like, what is stopping them from shelling like the rest of the Middle East? I don't trust them after they shelled like the Gulf states. I really, really don't. I don't.
All right, I gotta switch.
Yeah, and the only reason, and I want to say this, the only reason that they shelled the Gulf states the way that they did is because we attacked them out of the fucking blue after trying to make them play nice with us after we attacked them out of the blue last June. This response from the Iranians is not remotely unfounded. It's actually very founded because America twice now has gone out of its way, to bat for the Israeli lobby and Israeli foreign interests through American power. We have twice now struck Iran, hit their leadership. We had no real reason to provoke them, but we did anyway, and that's why they acted like that. So unless you're telling me they don't deserve to have nuclear weapons because they're going to spurg the fuck out whenever we hit them regardless, that's kind of like saying I don't think my wife should have a gun because she's going to shoot me regardless if I'm beating her or not. If you're beating your fucking wife and she has a gun, don't fucking be surprised when she's going to shoot you.
All right. Let's see. American Nerd for
smart about this.
American Nerd for 2. What's happening with the Save America Act, by the way? It's still on the floor. That's about it.
Yeah, it's still as far as okay. McConnell voted to advance it, right?
Yeah, McConnell fucking wanted it.
Yeah. So
Fuck
who
Tillis.
didn't vote? Which it was Tillis and
Murkowski.
Murkowski doesn't surprise me at this point.
Tillis is awful. I can't wait. I mean, hopefully, I don't know. I think Cooper is probably going to win that race, but hopefully Watley pulls it off. But
I do find it funny. It's McConnell people wanted it.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. It's like what Luke pointed out the other day. We're actually starting to gain in the North Carolina polls again.
Yeah, we are. Hopefully, but I still think it's tilt to lean D, but things can and probably will change. That's going to be a toss-up by election day. But yeah.
No, I'm telling you guys, I think we might be on track to that.
We'll see.
I think we're going to win it.
If we win that, then
you got to remember they have a Green Party candidate.
That's right. He's going to go 2% of the votes because the
they
whole
haven't had a Green Party candidate for Senate in a while in North Carolina.
And this guy, had a viral moment. So you could get a lot of sympathy vote, especially in the college towns.
All right. Yes.
I do think we're on track to win North Carolina. I think as we get closer and Trump definitely starts hitting the campaign trail again, it's going to be a good thing for us.
If Collins wins and we hold North Carolina and somehow flip Georgia, then man, this is going to be like better than a reverse 2022. We're gaining Senate seats even if we inevitably.
If that happens, I'm going to laugh hysterically because, and there's a chance. I mean, look at Virginia. There's a chance if we pull off that referendum in Virginia, despite Republicans doing nothing.
The early vote is getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah, it's getting better by the day, which is insane. But look what happened yesterday.
By the way, is also proof that we should do everything we fucking can to prevent another government shutdown going into the midterms, because that turnout more or less single-handedly validates the theory that the reason they went so blue during their gubernatorial election and statewide elections in Virginia and New Jersey was because of the shutdown and Democrats blaming it on Republicans, despite it being a Democratic shutdown.
Yeah, that's people understand that's proof they actually the shutdown only if it wasn't for the shutdown, Mears would have won. He would have fucking won. And Chinarelli,
it would have very easily been within 5 points for governor.
Yeah, it was all a turnout thing. And now without the shutdown, which by the way, that should make Democrats very worried that they need a shutdown. But these fucking incompetent assholes in the Senate, They agreed to fund the government until right before the midterms. You dumb shits. I can't believe, like, why don't we just fund the government through, like, the end of the year? Why?
Because McConnell and all the other loser Republicans in the party are upsetty spaghetti that the Democrats are finally starting to lose, because the Republican Party is supposed to be the party that loses and makes money off of that. They're supposed to be the graceful, moral losers that are never supposed to really lift a finger. And it's exactly what Trump said when he started all of this shit 10 years ago. It's exactly as he said when he announced. He's going to teach the Republican Party to win for once. And now that we're winning, you can see all of these people who have been in power for so long, like McConnell and Tillis and them and Murkowski and all of them. They're fucking mad and they're pissy and they are being the biggest fucking children in the world over this shit.
Yeah. It's fucking wild that they want to lose on purpose because they make more money. They make more fucking money losing on purpose.
I do think the Republicans kind of want to lose.
They want
just
to.
so they can fundraise better. No, I actually do believe that theory.
No, they want to fucking lose.
They've been talking about repealing Roe v. Wade since the fucking Bush era. Trump's the first president who actually overturns
before
it.
that.
Yeah. Reagan,
way before
but
the
they've
Bush
been talking
era.
about it since Reagan. They've been talking about it since fucking Reagan. Trump's the first president to actually go and do that, even during a fucking Democrats presidency, because he's the one who appointed the fucking judges who would do it.
And we lost Tyrone.
The compromise.
Great. All right, chat. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Send super chats. Join the channel. Reminder: do that. Like the stream, please.
Hello.
Okay, you're back. Yeah, you're good.
Trump was the first Republican president to overturn Roe.
Also subscribe
Shut
to
the fuck up. Don't show your own channel.
Yeah, fuck off.
I'm
Battlefield. I'm Battlefield for 5. I wish Tyrone could debate all the black pilled people in my Discord server. Well, people are just be black pilled because oh, go on.
I don't debate people because I don't like dealing with people. Smiley face.
All right. I guess since we're here, we got to talk about Rand Paul, everybody. We love Rand Paul, don't we?
Given a position, why the fuck was he put in charge of like a Senate position, dude?
All right, for those that don't know, so Mark Wayne Mullen is having his confirmation hearing as we speak, and take a guess who runs that committee. The one committee Paul. We need to get him through. Rand Paul and Mullen fucking hate each other. They despise each other. We're not talking about just a normal dislike of each other. They fucking hate each other. And apparently, Senator Katie Britt of Alabama, she was going to introduce Mullen at the hearing, but Rand Paul blocked her. And he did himself. And basically, Rand Paul, all he's doing is he's going to seek Mullen's confirmation, basically, because the two hate each other. A personal fucking beef. Why the fuck was he put in this position? Why? Right here, a source from
during the COVID era, he was actually kind of useful, and people thought he'd be good, but then he just spurred out.
Yeah, right here. What the fuck is that sound?
I'm sorry, I'm driving. Okay, give me a okay.
It says right here, statement of the Fox via a senior Senate GOP source familiar with the situation. Rand Paul has become completely blinded by his hatred of President Trump and his petty personal squabbles. His actions today were those of a seething snake and a hopeless hypocrite. What kind of free speech advocate would bar Senator Mullen's choice to deliver his introduction from speaking? Yeah, so Mullen picked Katie Britt to introduce him, and Rand Paul is the only one that could block him, and he did. And what kind of Republican would bar a fellow Republican senator from voicing their support of a colleague? Why is this guy allowed to hold the GOP gavel? Yeah, so he not just blocked Katie Britt, he blocked him from introducing himself. This is Rand Paul, everybody. What do you notice with Rand Paul and Thomas Massie? What's a constant trend with them?
They hate Trump.
Libertarians when they're asked to do anything other than counter signal Trump.
Well, not only that, but I've been noticing more of this recently. Their principles are not principles. It's personal beef they have with people. And they just claim it's principles. And morons eat it up. Because, oh my God, Rand Paul 10 years ago voted good on one issue.
People are scared to admit sometimes power needs to be taken for the sake of power, so they sell themselves on lofty ideals like principles and all this other shit.
Yeah.
When that's simply not how that game is played.
They use
guys
principles
like
as a
Massey
cover.
and Paul understand it.
They use principles as a cover to cover their bullshit up. American Nerd for 2. Who the hell made Rand Paul a committee chair? Yeah. Prime McConnell made a backroom deal with him 10 years ago. Look that one up. Look up. And I'm not even joking. Back in 2014, Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell made a backroom deal where Rand Paul would openly support and campaign for Mitch McConnell in a primary, which, by the way, he would have lost that primary, by the way. If I think it was Bevin that ran, if he would have got actual support from people like Rand Paul, he probably would have won. He got 35% of the vote in the primary. McConnell barely cracked 50. The one time they had a chance to get rid of him, guess who backed McConnell?
Rand Paul.
And Thomas Massey. Funny how that works.
Wow. And then Mitch McConnell endorsed Rand Paul for
president. He made a backroom deal to publicly back him for president for his political machine behind him.
Which is funny because McConnell fucked over Ron Paul on the presidential trail in 2012.
Yeah, that's Rand Paul, everybody.
Not a lot of people remember that. Yeah, remember, Rand Paul's okay if you screw his dad's presidential ambitions over, but as long as you help him barely stave off a Democrat in the Senate election, he'll get you an endorsement for president. Yeah. Kentucky has produced some of just the most disgusting politicians in this country. The sad part
is the best member of Congress in Kentucky is James Comer. That is fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
That is sad. James Comer should be seen as a D tier congressman. He is okay. He actually does some good stuff at the oversight committee. He does try. He's actually doing some good stuff. But seriously, that is the number one option in Kentucky. James Comer. Who else do you got? Andy Barr. What's the other guy? Name somebody in Kentucky. Like Hal Rogers?
Guthrie, I think.
I don't even know.
These options, these people suck. That's Kentucky. When James Comer, by all accounts, now is your best congressman, you fucked up. Not just to stay with one congressman, you have 7 of them, or 8, whatever it is. And you can't find a couple decent ones in Kentucky? K-Cup for 2, but rap, and the principles. Yeah. That's your principles right there. Throw your dad under the bus. Who, by the way, Ron Paul got fucked over in 2012, and nobody talks about it. And instead, Rand Paul makes a deal with the devil, and a bloop in his face. So funny how that works.
I screw my dad over to try and run for president, but can't even get fucking 4th in the Iowa primary.
Yeah, American Nerd for 2. So now, what is Trump and Mullen going to do here? I think Fetterman's going to vote for Mullen. I think. So Fetterman might save us here, which again, that's one of the rare times Fetterman's actually useful. But fuck Rand Paul.
It's hilarious. It is hilarious.
Go on. Sorry.
It's hilarious how the only time you can have a stroke, sustain brain damage, and become more for your fucking caucus or your fucking, what do you call it?
Constituents.
You know what I mean? Yeah, your constituents is when you're a Democrat in Congress.
What? Whatever. Josh for 5. Hal Rogers.
Go ahead.
Hal Rogers is almost 90 and he's been there since 1981. Yeah, he's fucking old as shit. Ron Paul got betrayed by his dad in 2012. No, he got betrayed. No, that's not what happened.
I looked it up. Rand Paul was 5th in Iowa in 2016.
Wow.
He got a whopping 4.5% of the percentage.
What percent of the vote did Ron Paul get in 2012 in Iowa? I'm pretty sure he took
That's a
second.
great question.
I'm pretty sure he took second place.
Third. He got 21.43%.
You go from 21% to 4%. Man, what a great sign.
Yeah,
oh my God, Luke.
He didn't win the popular vote, but he took the delegate count.
Yeah. Wow. Fucking wow. Good job. You get fucking 2% of the vote. All right. Let's see. Nate Morris will be a top 5 senator while Cameron be a mid and Barr be terrible. Yeah, Nate Morris is surging. He has a chance of winning. He has a legitimate chance. If Trump stays in the race, I did hear my back him, by the way. There's a good chance
right now. I hope Nate Morris.
He's surging. He went from like 1 or 2% to like 15% now. It's very similar to Vance. All right.
If Trump get Neil Cameron to drop out and just run for governor, because he's not gonna lose like he did to Bashir. He's gonna win in 27 easily. Then yeah, I think Nate Morris has it.
Eric for 5. When did Kentucky become this haven for libertarians? Its politics used to be in line with Appalachia. It's not like New Hampshire, Utah, or Alaska. That's a great question. I don't know. When you think of Kentucky, what do you think of? The first thing you think of Kentucky?
You know what I think of when I think of Kentucky? I think of I think of coal mining. I think of labor unions. I think of being economically in sync with the rest of Appalachia.
Yeah,
I think
you would think of Vance type or Nate Morris type would be the standard. Instead, we're stuck with Rand Paul and Thomas Massey, who are just nose on everything. Josh for 2.
It's the McConnell machine.
Yeah,
it's the McConnell machine.
Josh
McConnell got elected, and he became the nastiest SOB that fucking side of Appalachia.
Yeah. Let's see
so
here.
I think next on the news agenda, we talk about Cesar Chavez.
Oh, gosh. Josh for 2. Rand Paul sounds like a mama's boy and a Nepo baby. To be fair, he only got in office because of his dad. But, all right, what happened to Chavez? What actually happened here? I didn't hear about
they're
this.
accusing Chavez of being a rapist. It's a fucking nothing burger thing brought up by Real Texan because he's just bored.
Great.
No one gives a fuck Cesar Chavez is being called a rapist. I'm going to be real with you, homie.
All right.
Real Texan, you should tell him about that new congressional candidate in
What?
Huh?
The fuck did you say?
The Democratic congressional candidate in Rio Grande.
Oh yeah, that guy, Bobby Polito. Yeah, apparently he started a music video in like 2007, I think, and he basically cosplays like a pervert.
Bruh. K count for 5. Like Tyrone. Oh, shut the fuck up. A Tyrone that was more depth than what I think about when I think about Kentucky. I just think of the Colonel and the secret recipe fried chicken. Well, no, Kentucky is. You would think we have very labor state, very pro labor, pro union. They want like benefit. They want welfare. They want Social Security. You don't think of fucking Rand Paul. The antithesis of that. Like you don't think of that. Trump should raise hell and get Senate for not passing the Save America Act, but we only got an option for Trump to sign executive order. Again, this is a very interesting situation with the executive order idea. So it sounded like John Thun's a dumb shit, and they're not going to try to talk and filibuster. Which,
by the way, Rap, here's the music video.
I'm not showing it. Good lord. Yeah, like the thing with Trump is there is an idea being floated around where they invoke a kind of like a national emergency type inside a new executive order for election security. Now, that I don't think has ever been tested before or even attempted. Ever. I could be wrong. Maybe some obscure thing happened in the Civil War. But Tyrone, you're cutting out. Tyrone. Cutting out. We lost him. Patriot.
By the way, here's what I'll say about Bobby Polito.
Oh my God.
Cool.
Tyrone. Tyrone, we didn't hear a single thing you said. You just keep cutting out. Just, sir. All right. But yeah, so the idea is like, since the Save America Act is probably not going to pass, which is pathetic, he's going to sign an executive order where it would be the same thing. And the idea is it would be a national emergency in line with, like, I forget which law it is where it gives the president authority to declare a national emergency, like with the border a couple years ago. This has never happened with elections ever. Maybe the Civil War, they might have had something, or Lincoln was doing some wild shit back then. I don't know. Maybe Lincoln did something. Maybe FDR did something. But
hello?
Yeah,
Can
we're
y'all
good
hear
now.
me now.
Yeah. We hear you.
Okay, yeah. What I was saying was, if he does that, that would also be a fucking fantastic way to temporarily energize Democrats and give them something to actually fundraise on. Trump's invoking a fascist executive order in order to try and bypass our safe and secure democratic elections by imposing voting right, by restricting voting rights.
Yeah, it's a racist. It's a Jim Crow law 2.0. Even though the legislation provides free ways to get the proof of citizenship.
This is gonna make Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Jim Eagle.
Jim Eagle.
It's gonna be Jim Eagle.
American Nerd for 6.
I'm not the only person that remembers Biden saying that, am I?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
That one was epic.
Oh my gosh. American Nerd for 6.
I know what a black job is. It's the vice president of the United States.
Oh gosh. American Nerd for 6. If Mueller doesn't get through, Trump should go off on Rand Paul. Oh, he's going to. I did hear Trump's getting fucking fed up with the Senate. He might go off a lot of people tonight. We'll see. K count for 2. Kurtz just got Tyrone. GG boys, good run. It's over. Yeah, that's real. But yeah, so y'all act like we passed the Save America Act to flip 200 seats. No one said that. The point of the Save America Act is secure our elections because there's clearly issues with it. And I'm not saying it's gonna flip the House or whatever, but this is a good question. Why are Democrats so against it? Why?
They know their time is near.
Senator Dixon would have won if the Save Act existed.
Obviously not, but again, okay. Like the voter rolls are filled with shit, and they don't want to reform for a reason. That's the one they're fighting over. Guys,
the voter rolls are full of illegals and fraudulent votes that allow the Democratic Party. We've already cut out the money from their ability to sustain all of this. That's why they're now magically all of a sudden at one of the worst cash losses they've ever fucking seen in their time as a national party.
Yeah. It's objectively true. Like, yeah, there are some people raising a lot of money, but you look at who they're getting the money from, and you realize this is not sustainable.
What's also worth pointing out is that a lot of these guys who are receiving all this money traditionally would be receiving at least a significant chunk of it out of grassroots.
Yeah.
Some of their top fundraisers right now, like fucking Talarico and Ossoff, like 90% of their votes are coming from out of state fucking like Silicon Valley and
the machine's
Hollywood
dead.
Companies.
That I'm telling everybody this right now. Yes, Democrats have an enthusiasm gap, but I'm telling you, it's not as big as people think it is. They have a huge problem
money for it. And what little money they do have is so blatantly coming from out of state that if there were any serious attempts at a campaign finance reform law,
it would have fucked Democrats over.
No money. They would have no money.
Yeah. And like, that's why like Democrats, yes, they can get away with a couple races. Like if it's like 1 or 2 races are focused on like last year in Virginia, New Jersey, they can still get away with a lot of shit. But look, they're not raising jack shit this year. They're getting fucking obliterated. And they got lucky Republicans, and namely Trump, he didn't give a shit about Sears. So they got lucky with that one. K-Cup for 2, forget Senate voting, settle in Mortal Kombat. That is real.
So true.
Let's see. But yeah, I mean, like Democrats, like they're getting shit on in fundraising. They can't raise any money. Their machine is dead, or it's going to die. Like, the only thing they got is just bullshit enthusiasm, which I'm starting to wonder, is this sustainable? They like, can you really bank on just Orange Man bad through the entire year?
No. Because they did that with 24, even when they had the money and they lost the popular vote for the first time since 9/11.
They just got lucky with 2025. Let's be honest. They got lucky with the shutdown, and that's about it. But both their victories last year in like Wisconsin, New Jersey, and Virginia, it was just perfect timing for them. They got lucky. The ways that like they would have still won those races, but
perfect doesn't begin to describe it. It was fucking immaculate timing.
Yeah. And in April last year, a quick reminder, that was Elon Musk being a dumb shit and saying, vote for Brad Schimmel, get $1 million, everybody. That turned off even a bunch of Trump voters. They said, what the fuck? You're bribing people to vote for this guy? I'm not going to vote for him, even though they like Musk. That's what happened in Wisconsin. Again, they still would have lost. That was the peak of the Doge insanity and all that. And we all know with the shutdown, they got fucking lucky. They had the shutdown. If they didn't have that, good luck. All right, couple more super chats. K-Cup for 2. I've read that already. Shit. But yeah. The VRA decision will be announced soon. Apparently they announced a decision day on Friday out of nowhere. I think, right? Supreme Court did. And usually, it's not a guarantee all the time, but usually Fridays, that's more controversial decisions. Usually. So, Wisconsin would have been like D+4, D+5 without the Musk stuff. I agree. It would have been D+4 or 5. They just got, the Musk just fucked everybody over. So, and plus Democrats had the momentum right away, and yeah, they want the rails. They need a shutdown in order to have a good night. Even then, I mean, the shutdown last year, can they do that again? I mean, they could try, but the reason it worked so well is like New Jersey and Virginia, they like, especially Virginia, they rely on those government subsidies. And you got the government workers in Virginia, some in New Jersey, you got the SNAP stuff. So, all right. In other news, everybody, Secretary St. Marco Rubio just slapped a $15,000 fee on a dozen more countries when foreigners try to get an American visa. That means a total of 50 countries have a brand new fee.
Oh, we have breaking news.
What?
Collins is the only Republican nominee who actually filed to be on the primary in Maine, which means she's going to have no contenders in the primary.
Yes.
How much money did we spend on Susan Collins?
I think it's close to 100 million, I think. It was some fucking crazy amount.
So we spent $100 million on a primary campaign that is not even going to see anyone challenge her. And we spent $100 million on a do-nothing rhino who is going to lose his runoff against somebody else. But
well, actually, no, that's kind of wrong because Tyrone, the money they spent, that's scheduled for September and stuff into the summer.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. It was like reserved.
$100 million for Maine is crazy.
Yeah, and Democrats like good luck with that primary. Good fucking luck. That primary is a shit show. God, and that's another thing. Like I'm working an article right now, but like, you know, a couple things I'm working on. I have the why you should still vote Republican, and the big one is why Democrats have a lot more problems than you think, and it's just the amount of bullshit primaries they have to deal with. Look at fucking Illinois. They had what, like 10 bullshit, unnecessarily competitive races. They're gonna win this later this year, but they spent tens of millions of dollars on all of them. So, American Nerd for 2. Why is Friday the controversial SCOTUS day or decisions? Well, because it's right before the weekend. And SCOTUS sushi dips. That's kind of what they do.
It could allow for it could allow for all the mass protests and shit. Also, look at my new name and the profile picture.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, very cool, Bahaman Minjani.
Why the fuck is that your profile now?
I don't know. I saw it on Twitter.
Muhammad
anyway,
is that Mike Huckabee?
I'll see
Yeah, I
you
gotta
guys
go
later.
too.
No, that's Netanyahu.
Oh my gosh. Jeez. Let's see. Democrats are anti-American. That's true. If they spend that much money in Maine, they spend all the money in Wisconsin. Yeah, they're spending $100 million in Maine, which, yeah, good luck. They can spend just casually $100 million, yeah, in Maine. Yeah, 100 million there, 200 million in Texas, 500 million in Michigan. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Okay, everybody. I think that's kind of it. Last calls of super chats. Last calls of super chats. Send them now.
Yeah, I gotta crash out. I'll see you.
All right. So, yeah. Overall, the Illinois primary, just again, there is a clearly the anti, or Israeli skeptical crowd is a growing part of American politics. But if it's not winning elections in a Democrat primary in Illinois, and this was a big state for them, it's not as widespread as people think it is. Like, people understand, like, yes, it is a big issue. I should say it's a growing issue. But the reality is, it is not as widespread as people think it is. Yes, people may think it's like a B tier issue. Sure. But you ask voters, what's the most important issue? It's always the economy, cost of living, government corruption, immigration, crime, education. That's what they care about more. And that's the reality of it. You like, yes, you cannot just run on Israel bad. Even a Democrat primary, that's not enough. And, well, they're learning it the hard way. But, yeah. People better wake up in Virginia. Seems like they are. Seems like they went way too far. And that, like, they gotta be careful with Virginia. There's a lot of ad material in Virginia. How crazy it is. And that's what they're gonna bank on, probably. They're gonna bank on probably two things. Democrats opposed to the Save America Act and debating on it and saying, no, it's racist. And what's going on in Virginia, where they're just passing the most batshit crazy laws. Can't own a gun except if you're in the assembly. You have to fire a bunch of white people. You cannot hire white people. All this other crazy shit. All right, I think that's kind of it, everybody. We shall see you guys in the next stream, video, or wherever you see us at. Godspeed to all of you.